Full disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, as a bootneck, I do enjoy ripping the piss out of sailors. So, full disclosure, that is a hobby of mine. It's how we bond in the UK, isn't it? We don't do nice, we do intense mockery. But please believe me when I tell you, this is not fake news. This is from the Sky News website today. Are you ready? Exclusive, Royal Navy recruits no longer need to be swimmers. Yeah, what next? What next? Snipers no longer need eyeballs. Sappers no longer need fingers. Cooks don't need to be able to cut. Oh no, hang on. Yeah, we've already got that one. Okay, this is a beauty. Let's have a read, shall we? It sounds like it's a late April Fool's joke, but I've been assured by sources that it's not. Royal Navy recruits no longer need to be swimmers. A source says there is concern about the change to entry requirements, which means there will no longer be a 30-minute swim test prior to being recruited, and brands the move a sign of true desperation to increase recruitment numbers. Yeah, do you know why you have to be able to swim for 30 minutes? Just putting it out there. It's so that if your ship gets sank by some slimy backstabbing RG who's been buying missiles off the French throughout the entirety of the war, if your ship gets sank, you can actually swim whilst you await, hopefully, rescue of some kind, or perhaps for a life raft to see you, or an ally to come and pick you up, you know, or maybe just at least float until a bootneck shows up and you can cling to his neck for dear life while he does all the swimming because you get less exercise than Stephen Hawking did. Not all sailors, just most of them. There's a nice image of a load of sailors having a swim. I'm assuming the ones stood watching are unable to. They're hydrophobic, those boys at the top. Look at that bit at the top. Why you can trust Sky News. Oh yeah, Kay Burley's shown why we can trust Sky News. She's as honest as a Chinese Rolex. Anyway, according to this story, it says anyone seeking to join the Royal Navy will no longer need to prove they can swim in what one defence source called a desperate relaxing of standards to tackle a recruitment crisis. But a Royal Navy spokesperson pushed back on the criticism, saying standards were not being lowered because all recruits would still be required to pass a swim test during training. Oh yeah, the Navy never lied, do they? The Navy don't lie. The Navy told my mate Yozza that he was joining up and he was basically just going to be the core boxer and he's going to spend all of his time swanning around the UK engaging in sporting activities. 6 months later he was in Sierra Leone peeling a leech off his left testicle. The Royal Navy are not always honest. And if you can't guarantee that they're going to actually follow through on this, what are you going to do? What if a bloke's been badged, got his coveted blue beret and his nice sailor's whites, and what they're going to do, just keep him on land until he passes a swim test? What if he just doesn't pass the swim test? What if he's got the same aptitude for swimming as a house brick? And every time you try and put him in the pool, he's like, nope, not doing that. What are you going to do? You wasted all that money training him, you're just going to throw him out? Sailors have rights, don't you know? How are you going to manage that? No, I reckon you're going to be stuck with yet another useless, lazy matlaw. Winner. It's not like we haven't got enough of them already to worry about, is it? Some of the ones that can swim are completely bone idle and all. The source, however, said there was concern about the change to entry requirements, which meant there would no longer be a 30-minute swim test prior to being recruited. It's a sign of true desperation to increase recruitment numbers. Being able to swim will no longer be an entry requirement, said the source, requesting anonymity. Navy chiefs have been under pressure to improve recruitment figures after a serious drop last year, as revealed by Sky News. Grant Shapps, the world's most incompetent defence secretary, said in February the situation was improving, with applications to join the Navy at an 8-year high. Ha ha ha! Grant Shapps. What's that I smell? Oh yeah, Grant Shapps just opened his mouth, flapped his forked tongue and spat out another load of absolute bilge. If you believe the Royal Navy's recruiting numbers are at an 8-year high, you're nearly as thick as Grant Shapps. Nobody wants to join because I made a lengthy video about it a while ago. Because the British government hates the inhabitants of the country, the normal working class people. They like the BBC and the Guardian journalists and the insufferably smug middle class arseholes, but the absolute backbone of Britain, the hard-working, toiling, blue-collar, working-class people, the bus drivers and the plumbers and the bricklayers and the white van men that Emily Thornberry aren't very keen on, The backbone of the UK and the backbone of the armed forces is being actively and aggressively persecuted by the state, so they don't want to join up. I serve my country. I went on 5 operational deployments. I happily went to Iraq twice because it's nicer than Middlesbrough. I went to Afghanistan twice. I would not join up today. The UK is a joke. The state is hostile to the people that inhabit the British Isles, and everything Grant Shapps is a lie. He makes Saruman the White look honest and noble. The man is a walking toilet, and everything he says is either wrong or an outright falsehood. So, there we go. The Royal Navy is a joke. How nice to know. What they're going to do next, get rid of the Royal Marines Commando test and replace it with, what? 3 miler of death. Brisk walk around Greggs with a brief stop for a steak bake in the middle. I mean, everything this government has done in the last 12 years has been, it seems, at the behest of globalist psychopaths to make everything worse. Doesn't matter whether you're talking about quality of life, the roads, the schools, doctors, dentists, anything. Everything is in shambles, so why should the Royal Navy be any different? But that's just my opinion. If you think the Royal Navy's as good as ever, because you're an absolute weirdo, please let me know in the comments. Alright, thanks for watching. See you all very soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.